Good afternoon and welcome to Solent Sports News. Here's what we have coming up on today's programme. After a dismal start to their Premier League season, Southampton don't seem to be showing any signs of improvement. But how do they get on in their South Coast derby with Bournemouth? The Solent Kestrels are flying high this season as they lead in both the Bucks and National Basketball League. They now prepare for rivals Bournemouth on Wednesday evening. After relegation, new recruits and a change in coaching, the Solent women's rugby team are looking for a change in fortune this season. We'll be joined by team captain Ellie Osborne in the studio. And finally, they finished second for the past 2 seasons, but the Solent cricket team are back training and are determined to show their luck has not run out. But we begin with Eastleigh FC, who have been knocked out of the FA Cup. The Spitfires lost to Hampton and Richmond in the 4th round of qualification in devastating fashion, conceding the only goal of the match in the 85th minute at the Silver Lake Stadium. Hampton and Richmond, co-managed by Martin Tyler, will now move on to the first rounds of the prestigious competition. Also, AFC Totton and Winchester City FC are set for a local derby tomorrow evening at the Testwood Community Stadium. The two teams will go head-to-head at 7:45 in a Southern League South Division tie. Totton currently sits 1 point of the playoff places, whereas Winchester are currently 13th, having also been knocked out of the FA Cup on the weekend. Another game without a win for Southampton FC as they drew 0-0 away to local rivals Bournemouth. Connor Summers is live at St Mary's with the whole story. Connor, what is the mood like at the ground today?
Yeah, Gapri, a very windy but very sombre St Mary's Stadium here today in Southampton. Yet another win and yet another loss, yet another draw, for Southampton against their South Coast rivals, Bournemouth. The South Coast derby, a lot of chances in that one, very energetic, but not a lot of goals at all. Charlie Austin coming the closest for Southampton, and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg doing a lot of work in midfield, creating a lot of chances. Just 1 win in 9 games for Southampton, and they could be in a relegation dogfight fairly soon. Bournemouth, meanwhile, sit up in 6th.
And Connor, we heard there was a famous face in the stands that day.
Yes, there was, yeah. Francis Benali was in the stands at the Vitality Stadium on Saturday afternoon. A true fan of the Saints who played for the club for 16 whole years at the Dell, mostly. He was in the stands at the Vitality cheering on the Saints, but unfortunately they could not get the win. He expressed his excitement in being in the fans on Twitter after the game.
Okay, and thank you, Connor, there. And now on to basketball. And the Solent Kestrel women's team are currently enjoying a great spell as they lead in both the Bucks and National Basketball League. As they prepare for their rivals Bournemouth, our reporter Will Fowler has the story.
It's tipping point for the Solent Kestrel women's team this Wednesday. They face local rivals Bournemouth. The Kestrels sit top of the Western 1A League after a 76-62 win against Exeter to head coach CJ Lee, who thinks although his team are in with a chance, it's not going to be an easy ride.
And Bournemouth are going to be tough opposition, obviously. There are other good teams in that league. Cardiff, we played Exeter yesterday. It was a relatively close game. But yeah, we wouldn't be in it if we didn't want to win it.
They currently sit top of the University and the National League. Point guard Chloe Lamas said both competitions are as important as each other.
They're both fairly equal. National League is definitely a higher level, but the training's the same, the level of intensity is the same, and the importance of them are both the same.
Bournemouth won their last game 98-22, but could it be the home advantage that's key to a Kestrel's win?
The fact that we practice here, the girls are in here maybe 5 times a week, gives you a big advantage. Hopefully we'll have a great home crowd as well, kind of spurring the team on. That 6th man advantage is massive.
We've lost to them twice since I'm a 3rd year, so I've lost them 2 years running now, so this year is going to be the year that hopefully we smash them instead.
After their training session, Lamas told us her game day routine and how she prepares herself for the match ahead.
I wake up quite early, have a good breakfast, maybe chuck some music on, kind of get myself game ready, roll out, have a good warm-up and then get ready to compete.
The Kestrels will be looking to overcome Bournemouth on Wednesday evening and extend their lead at the top of the University League. A win would set them up perfectly for the National League tie against Anglia Ruskin on November the 10th. Will Fowler for Solent Sports News.
And now to rugby. The weekend's European fixtures brought a humongous upset from France as the Heineken Cup favourites Leinster tasted defeat for a second time this season. The Irish Giants are the current holders of the European Cup, but were cut down to size by a ferocious Toulouse side who won the game 28-27. And now staying with rugby, and after a relegation, new recruits and a change in coaching, the Solent women's rugby team are just about ready to embark on a new season. And I'm joined live in the studio with the current captain, Ellie Osborne. So, Ellie, where did things go wrong for you last season?
I feel like there was no team cohesion last year. You could tell that on and off the pitch, and then you could tell that by our results as well, being put down a league and into a new league this year.
So heading into the season, what has changed in the team?
We've got a lot more freshers and they're a lot more determined and a lot more able compared to last year. Obviously rugby is a hard sport to do and it is hard to get people to stay in it as well, because obviously it's quite a contact sport and you know you're going to get hurt, but we're just trying to make it a lot more fun for them to stay and enjoy it for themselves as well. And
how has the coaching change impacted the team?
Well, it's a lot more fun. We're just trying to make it funner, as in the kind of things we do, and make it not as scary. So, for example, we've been using like the big yoga balls to try and get people how to tackle. We're not trying not to get too much in tackling yet, because we want to try and learn the basics first, and then we've gradually move into it towards our first game.
Fantastic. And given the history with University of Southampton, who are your first opponents this season, how eager are you to perform well?
Well, as we want to win. We want to win our first game because we want to kick off the start of the season with a win, and that will just make the whole team more confident for the rest of the season. And I think as Uni of, there is a massive rivalry there already, and we just want to basically kick their butt.
Well, thank you very much for coming into the studio, Ellie, and good luck for the season.
Thank you.
And now to another Solent team that have begun their training, as the Solent cricket squad are well underway in their winter preparations for the season starts in April. After a tough 2 seasons and the loss of many key players, the team are looking to be in the best shape for 2019. Our reporter Adarsh has the story.
Back in the nets, Solent Cricket's first team have begun their winter preparations. They had their first training session at the Aegis Bowl this week.
So we've just started our winter preparation. Train all winter, build towards the season in April. The boys have settled in really well to the team spirit, team environment as well, so look forward to seeing what they can do this winter and build it into the season as well.
So the boys worked really hard today. We're looking forward to the season is a fair way off, so we've got a long winter ahead training, but looking to build on last year.
The team are restructuring after having had to let go 7 of their key players. They now almost have a new team setup.
We lost 7 or 8 key players over a winter, but we've recruited really well. Brought in a few good first years, a few good who are going to help our squad massively for this season.
One of the new recruits is a tall left-arm quick from the University of West England.
The boys have all welcomed me really well. Bryce, the coaches, everybody involved made me feel really welcome. The squad morale has been quite high, as it is quite a bubbly kind of atmosphere in there.
Despite staying at the top of the league for the last 2 years, they're not taking the game lightly and have solid plans for the season.
Looking to build on last year and the year before. We've had 2 mixed seasons. 2 years ago, finishing second was a great achievement, and then last year was a bit of a rebuilding year, but we've retained our place in the top league. So looking forward to the summer and pushing on and making sure we reach the finals.
You can be sure the team will be hoping to go one better this season. Adarsh at the Aegis Bowl for Solent Sport News.
Over to Formula 1 now, and Lewis Hamilton failed to clinch his 5th world title this weekend as he slipped to a 3rd place finish in the United States Grand Prix. Kimi Raikkonen finished first, and with only 3 races left in the season, Hamilton has limited time to ensure he finishes top of the leaderboard come the end of the season. And finally, Britain's tennis #1 has won his first ever ATP title of his career. Kyle Edmonds beat Gael Monfils of France 3-6, 7-6, 7-6 at the European Open final in Antwerp on Sunday. Edmonds, who will rise to a career-high 14th in the world, lost a set in the tournament for the first time, but maintained his composure for the victory. That's all we have time for, and we will be back next Monday for more of the biggest sporting news. As always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to follow our social media pages.